Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Chief Talk here at Gardopia Gardens. You got the three chiefs in charge. We had an amazing November. We're moving into December. Of course, we're going to have some tips for you. So Sherry, start us off. What happened in November?
So we actually got started at MacArthur High School. We are building a great big garden. We are working with all the culinary students and they are taking our gardening classes. We started building 10 beds with the students. We filled them with beautiful compost and we actually mulched around every single one of the beds. We are ready for planting right when we get back from break, and we're just so excited to be at this wonderful school. We are planning a culinary garden, a science garden, an outdoor classroom. We'll have just a great big shed there as well. Sorry, a storage shed. And we're excited to get started with these wonderful students.
Yeah, so MacArthur is super special to me because I went to high school there.
Oh,
So
yes.
coming full circle, those students are great. Working with the culinary program and the chefs out there. So stay tuned on another grass transformation into a beautiful garden. Dom, what else happened in November?
Yeah. So we at Cardopia are very blessed to work with one of our partners is Edgewood ISD. And I want to make sure I say this name correctly because it's very long. The school that we're working with is Burleson School for Innovation and Education. So
Mm-hmm.
I reference it as the Burleson School, but
Mm-hmm.
shout out to our friends over there at Edgewood. And that they are supported by Texas A&M University Institute for Schools and Partnerships, which is really awesome. Shout out to Dr. Henrietta Munoz and Dr. Michelle Yanasek. And what they did is they secured a funding source from the Office of Sustainability, which is really great to provide workforce development opportunities
Mm-hmm.
for adults with developmental delays.
Mhm.
And so at the Burleson School, that's where Gardopia is there every single week, and we're providing garden-based learning for an entire year. And so it's an incredible vision that involved creating 8 garden beds. We're also there's a few more garden beds that are there because they have a little bit of infrastructure that's already created down, but providing fruit trees, yes, putting in fruit
shade
trees,
trees.
shade trees, some rose bushes. They have a program where they cut flowers outside,
Mm-hmm.
and then they take those flowers and they go, and that's a revenue generator.
Sure.
Really teaching these adults hands-on skills, which is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were out there, doing the trenching, laying down the irrigation, and moving soil. And what I really love is this idea of partnerships, right? We know that goal number 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals is partnership to achieve the goals.
Mhm.
Absolutely love that. And so what greater partnership than have our friends at HEB come out? So they came out in the month of November and they did a incredible volunteer day. We're talking working with the students, working with the staff, getting their hands dirty, moving mulch, moving compost, working on irrigation, cutting up the beds. And that really lays the foundation for thinking of what this garden is going to do, not just this year, but 6 to 10 years out. It's going to be really incredible to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that school. And not only do they have the garden program, but they have T-shirts. They
Right.
make T-shirts.
Oh,
They have a bike
That's right,
repair
bike,
shop.
yep.
I think they might have like a little cafe.
That's
It's
right.
amazing. So, again, stay tuned as we continue to transform that schoolyard into a productive outdoor classroom and living laboratory. And speaking off of what Dominic was talking about with HEB, which is a great support of our mission, they also came out on Texas Arbor Day with a group called Texan by Nature, an initiative called Trees for Texans. And so on Arbor Day, which was November 1st, Friday, we were at the Democracy Prep at the Stewart campus, which is a part of SAISD, and we planted close to 24 shade and edible trees on their campus, creating what's going to be a mini forest in their schoolyard. It's going to take about 5 to 10 years to fully grow in. We've actually already had a fruit orchard, about 15 to 20 trees there. So in total, we have close to 50 trees on their campus now. And that's helping green schoolyards, looking at tree equity, reducing the heat island effect, and of course, creating a robust ecosystem at their campus. So thank you to HEB, Trees for Texans, Texan by Nature for all that support. All right, y'all, it's time. Y'all know what time it is. What time is it?
what's in that bag?
What's in that bag? Yes, what's in that bag? So, what's in that bag today? Do you know what's in that bag? What's in the bag?
It looks like
What does it look like?
a book.
A book. A book.
If I was a betting person, I would say it's a book.
Y'all are good guessers. Well, this came in to my house today. I was like, what is this? Sometimes you make those late night Amazon purchases. But the reason I did it is because one, knowledge is power. I think I got both of these books for under $50. This one right here is Brad Lancaster, and this was actually recommended to me by one of our supporters who said, hey, I know about this great guy. He wrote a book. He's doing some work in Arizona, I believe. And so it's about rainwater harvesting, right? So we're experiencing drought right now. Texas has experienced drought for a long time. Like, there's records of it, probably 100 years plus. But that being said, we need to be conservation of our water. We need to conserve our water. Okay, we need to conserve our water 100%. And how do we do that? Well, we harvest it. And so I'm excited to learn more. I know a little bit, right? You hook a gutter up to a tank, you can have some filtration, but it can be even more advanced than that. We do have a solar water pump here at Gardopia that we use actually to provide pressure, because that's one of the issues with it. And then filtration is also. So excited to learn more about that. And then, of course, Amazon told me I also needed this, which is rainwater harvesting for your homestead. Who wrote this? Patrick Eliasson. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Eliasson. Either way, Patrick, we're going to check this out also. So we'll let you know how this goes. Green roofs. Dom, you know a little bit about green roofs,
I do.
right? So rain gardens, gardens at your house, rainwater collection. Rainwater is superior to tap water, y'all. And so as we continue to expand our agricultural efforts and we also reduce our consumption on resources, we should be collecting rainwater. All right, December. What we got going on in December?
Well, we have a Dawson Park day. I guess they're going to be opening up on December, is it 21st?
Yes, Dawson Park.
Yes.
So we have a partnership with San Antonio Parks and Recreation, and it's called Berkeley VM Dawson. It's next to the Hay Street Bridge, pretty much downtown, close to Alamo Beer, off of, I believe it's Lamar Street, I want to say. And so they've been working on this park since about May of 2023. It's about 1.5 acres, and it's set to open. So the fencing will come down in the next week or so. By the time you're seeing this video, the fencing will be down. You can visit the park. We will be having a class on December 21st about starting your garden.
Yes, so I'll be running this class and I'm very excited to give it. So hopefully in December we can introduce what you can put in your gardens if you are planting in December at this class. And we're also going to be talking about what soil amendments you could be adding into your garden, garden design, the setup. And then hopefully in January we will have another class. What was the class on?
Maintaining your garden.
Yes.
In January, and then February, harvesting your garden. Sherry's gonna cook some good food with all the
Yes.
greens that we're growing that Dom recommended. Yes. What else, John? What else is happening in December?
Yeah, so Gardopia partners with another incredible organization. Their name is Town Twin Village. And Town Twin Village is an effort to take people who are houseless and then give them stabilized housing.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in conjunction with Mark Wittig. And Mark Wittig had a vision for a quiet, peaceful garden. And this space is really where we are planting over 30 trees, 32 trees to be exact. There's going to be a beautiful walkway, a low impact development storm drain. So being able to collect in on the water that would normally go to the storm drain and reallocate that back out to the native plants that are be putting down there. So just a lot of beauty, a lot of place that people can go and be still for a moment. And that's the power of socio-horticulture, being tied to the environment and the many benefits that are coming out there. If you want more research on that, go check out Dr. Joseph Novak, who has a lot of extensive work in socio-horticulture. Sidebar. But we will be there the second week of December, and that'll be laying down the pollinator wildflower meadow. So just a point of conjunction where we don't need to reseed that every single year. It'll reseed itself, and then our beautiful Texas wildflowers will just come and grow over and over and over again. Do a little bit of tree care and maintenance there, and it'll be just something to really resonate with the community now all the way till 15 years out. It's going to be really beautiful. And it was really great to work with an architect. Mike is a good friend of Town Twin Village, and to work alongside them and create a beautiful plan. I see it, and it's going to be a wonderful spot for individuals to go to and reap the benefits of nature.
Okay, I'm excited for that pollinator meadow and the rainwater spaces that we're creating, or I guess they have like a sewage drain that we're going to be doing some beautification around as well. Excited for this spring to see everything in bloom. We also have a farmer's market. That's going to be on December 20th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Gardopia. That is in partnership with a grant from the San Antonio Area Foundation, as well as the Metro Health Equity Network, which has been doing some great work around food insecurity. And so we'll be doing 10 months in a row. This will be the kickoff for those 10, which will go from December all the way through September 2025. We'll be celebrating the winter solstice. It is the shortest day of the year in 2024, where you can join us, and we'll have, of course, fresh produce for giving away. We'll have plants for giving away. We'll have vendors. We'll have food. We'll have a cooking demo. Just a good time as always. Last but not least, we have the garden tips. That's why y'all are here. That's why we keep it to the end, because we want to keep you here getting informed about Gardopia's mission. But kick us off with some garden tips, Dom.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about months out, so keeping our fingers crossed that we won't have a terrible freeze come in, similar to Winter Storm Uri. But being able to think about what we're going to be planting right now that could potentially last a deep freeze, such as those types of numbers. And I'm talking, worst case scenario. But when we start to get into like the teens, like 15, 16, 17 degrees, some plants will really struggle, even though they're cold weather oriented. So things like broccoli and cabbage, our cauliflowers, those will be difficult, right? And golly, but what I found to be very resilient, especially at those temperatures, are things like lettuce. So having our lettuce, having our spinach, our leafy greens, so different types of arugulas,
Collards,
collards do well, kale as well. Those, even though they may potentially die back, their roots will still be alive, and it's good. So planting an abundance of that, because come February, March, you're really going to see those leafy greens come into fruition. You're gonna have so many salads, golly. So call everybody for salad time, late February, March, because it's going to be a lot. And then, as we are after that fear of frost, looking at our second round of broccolis and cauliflowers and cabbages, and then as it gets a little warmer into mid-March or maybe earlier March, now it's time to ramp up, your tomatoes and all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it'll be here before you know it, and just staying prepared.
Yep. You got Sherry?
So I would recommend that if you have nothing growing in your garden beds, instead of wasting that space with nothing growing, grow some cover crops like winter rye. I love using winter rye. My chickens love eating it whenever I'm done with it. So I'll actually release them into the garden beds and let them eat it. It's, I think, a really good snack for them. You can also use clovers. You can also use oats. You can use a variety of different ground, root vegetables like beets and radishes. And so just covering your garden beds with something that can grow and survive the winter, the cooler temperatures, is my recommendation. So you can keep that soil alive and healthy. And it's really going to be easy to remove after we get through this cold season. Mm-hmm. My other tip is to think about your birds. So putting out your bird feeders and filling them with the bird seeds, definitely recommended, so we can keep our birds fed well throughout the winter.
There's a lot of migrating birds right now, I would assume, right? migrating
Yes.
south.
Yes.
Okay. But then there are some birds that stick around. Are these like pigeons? Are these like grackles? Who am I feeding?
Oh, a variety. So we have a lot that we have chickadees, we have what is it? Uh, Goodness, the redbird.
Cardinals. Yeah.
Cardinals, there
Yep.
you go. We have, I mean, just a good handful that are still eating and
Mhm.
need to eat right now. So,
I put some bird feed out, so I finally got a bird feeder. I put it out, and one day I was at my house, and I saw like probably 5 or 6 different types of birds: blue jays, cardinals, like some little sparrows, like all there. And I was like, wow, like it's that simple.
yeah.
You know, they didn't know I was there, but then like when I think I moved like the car or something, everybody just vanished. Um, tips. Okay, so I think a couple of things. You know, Dominic was mentioning preparing for planting for extreme cold. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But that being said, you can start seeds indoors, right? So you can get like a heat mat. You can get a little indoor grow light, a little mini like greenhouse with a tray, essentially with a plastic cover over it, and you can start seeds indoors. That's definitely possible. Get them to a good point where they're nice and healthy, and then if it looks like we're out of the cold zone, maybe in January or February, you can plant stuff super early. You would have to cover it. So one thing you could do is like a little hoop house to help with keeping humidity and heat within a space. But all that being said, starting your seeds indoors, getting them ready for winter or getting them ready for spring as well. And then compost. Adding compost to your perennials and your trees right now. They are going to go dormant, but the root system will still be active. And so that's an opportunity for the roots to get really strong before they poke their head back out as we get into spring in March and April. So amending and adding compost to perennials and trees, getting a good mulch pile around them as well. Because if it does get super cold, especially for smaller trees, you may want to give them a little bit of extra mulch and water them down before a freeze. So thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Chief Talk. Until next time, hopefully I'll get some good tips out of this and get to growing. Peace.